Первое. What is this God? This is International Safety Guide for Oil Tankers and Terminals. Второй вопрос. What is this God contained? Is God contain 24 chapters and 9 appendixes. The purpose of the guide is to provide operational advice to assist personnel directly involved in tanker and terminal operations. This guide makes recommendations for tanker and terminal personnel on safety, carriage and handling of crude oil and petroleum products on tankers and terminals. Также ИСГОД состоит из 4 частей. Первое – общая информация. Второе – информация о танкере. Третье – информация о терминале. Четвертое – готовность к реагированию на аварию. Третье. What is MSDS? MSDS – Material Safety Data Sheet. These sheets serve as a legal source of information on the safe handling of hazardous chemicals in an environment. Четвертое. What is tank entry procedure and closed space procedure? The acceptable range of oxygen inside an enclosed space is between 19.5% and 23.5%. Normal air contains 21% of oxygen. Before entering an enclosed space, need to provide risk assessment and make list of work. Potential hazards must be identified and minimized. The space has to be checked for oxygen. It should read 20.8% volume. Enough light and illumination should be before entering. Permit to work must be appropriately prepared. One person always has to be kept to communicate with the person inside the space. Duty officer has to be informed before entering the enclosed space. Should carry oxygen analyzer with him inside the enclosed space and time to time check it. After work, close permit to work. Пятое. What is Asm Code mean? Asm – International Safety Management Code. The objectives of Asm Code are to ensure safety at sea, prevention of human injury or loss of life, and avoid of damage to environment. Шестое. When safety checklist to be completed. When all safety measures and precautions carry out. Седьмое. What is range of oxygen to be maintained for entering into enclosed space? The level of oxygen must be 21% or between 19.5% and 23.5%. What is electrostatic hazards? An electrical hazard is a dangerous condition where a worker can or does make electrical contact with energized equipment or a conductor. Девятое. What the general precaution to be taken again? First, avoid water at all times when working with electricity. Second, never use equipment with frayed cords, damaged insulations or broken plugs. Third, always use insulated tools while working. Fourth, always need to use rubber gloves. Fifth, never try repair energized equipment. Десятое. What is risk assessment and when it should be completed? Risk assessment is a term used to describe the overall process or method where you identify hazards and risk factors that have the potential to cause harm. This is hazard identification. Second, risk analysis and evaluation. And third, risk control. 11. Where's the flashpoint and you can find for present cargo. Each vessel that carries combustible or flammable cargo with a closed cap flashpoint lower than 60 degrees Celsius. IMDG code, the International Maritime Dangerous Goods code, was developed as a uniform international code for the transport of dangerous goods by sea. 12. What is flashpoint? The flashpoint of a volatile materials is the lowest temperature at which vapors of the material will ignite when given an ignition source. 13. What the cargo plan to be contained? A plan showing the distribution of all cargo parcels stored on board of a vessel for a voyage. 14. What the information you can find in MSDS? A material safety data sheet (MSDS) is a document that contains information on the potential hazards and how to work safely with the chemical products. 15. What mean close loading? Close loading discharging means loading or discharging with securely closed allege, sounding and sighting ports. Close loading should be used at all times unless not possible due to the design of the vessel or trade practices. 16. What is master standing order? The master, being the overall in charge of everything on board, is responsible for the function of the vessel in every aspect. Thus, it's a vision for him to promulgate his requirements with respect to safety of navigation and other operations carried out on the ship. 17. What is the performance monitoring of radar? Radar performing test checks the transmission and receiving power of the radar. For example, if the transmission power of the radar is not enough, radar may not able to paint some of the target at all, or radar may only be able to paint the targets with very less sensitivity. It's need to perform at least every watch. 18. Prevent garbage polluting or pollution. MARPOL Annex 5 contains regulations for the prevention of pollution by garbage, which apply to all ships. Annex 5 totally prohibits the disposal of plastic anywhere into the sea and severely restricts discharges of other garbage from ships into coastal waters and special areas. 19. What a firefighting fix system and portable equipment do you know? The main purpose of FSS code is to provide specific standards of engineering specification for fire safety system present on board. It includes total of 15 chapters. For example, some firefighting equipment, fire extinguishers, EBD, firefighter's outfit, ICS, International Shore Connection. 20. Action to be taken in case of fire. In case of fire alarm, need to inform officer on watch and raise the alarm, close all ventilations, fire and watertight doors. Muster all crew in appropriate place. Isolate all electrical units. Main the fire party to be properly equipped. Chief officer taking proper communication between bridge and fireplace. Checks on apparatus must be carried out prior to entering space. Вопрос 21. What is MARPOL? This is International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships. MARPOL is the main international convention covering prevention of pollution of the marine environment from ships operational and accidents causes. MARPOL 73-78 – это главное международное соглашение, охватывающее предотвращение загрязнения окружающей среды судами от эксплуатационных или случайных причин. Вопрос 22. How many annexes are contained in MARPOL? MARPOL contains 6 annexes. Annex 1. Regulations for the prevention of pollution by oil. Инструкции по предотвращению загрязнения нефтью. Annex 2. Regulation for the control of pollution by noxious liquid substances in bulk. Инструкция по контролю загрязнения ядовитыми жидкими веществами. Annex 3. Prevention of pollution by harmful substances, carried by sea in packet form. Предотвращение загрязнения вредными веществами, перевозимыми в упакованном виде. Annex 4. Prevention of pollution by sewage from ships. Предотвращение загрязнения сточными водами судов. Annex 5. Prevention of pollution by garbage from ships. Предотвращение загрязнения мусором судов. Annex 6. Prevention of air pollution from ships. Предотвращение загрязнения воздуха судами. Вопрос 24. What is passage planning? Passage planning or voyage planning is a procedure to develop a complete description of a vessel's voyage from start to finish. Вопрос 25. What is your actions during pilotage? Usually, pilot who goes to instruct the helmsman and officer on watch about the course of action. The officer on watch should be observant of the helmsman. All the important navigational marks should be noted in the ship maneuvering book. Ensure that the pilot duly sign all the required form. The position of the vessel should be plotted on the chart if necessary. If the vessel is proceeding to the berth at the jetty, the officer on watch is to follow master's instructions. Вопрос 26. What is mean celestial navigation? Celestial navigation, also known as astronavigation, is the art and science of finding your way by the sun, moon, stars, and planets, and in one form or another, is one of the oldest practices in human history. Вопрос 27. What is grid circle? Ram line. A grid circle, also known as an orthodrome of a sphere, is the intersection of the sphere and plane that passes through the center point of the sphere. Это ортодромия. In navigation, a rhomb line or loxodrome is an arc crossing all meridians of longitude at the same angle. That is, a path with construct bearing as measured relative to true or magnetic north. Это локсодромия. Вопрос 28. How the gyro error to be determined? In determine gyro error we have two methods. The first is by celestial observation using the Sun and Polaris. The second method is the pierced, fix or trio and error method. Чтобы рассчитать поправку компаса, там идет свод формул и расчетов в 11 этапов. И надо быть по-настоящему одаренным, чтобы рассказать это на английском. Вопрос 30. How many NTM issue per 1 year? Notice to mariners issues every week. 52 notice every year. Логичный ответ 52. Вопрос 31. What is mean navtex? Navtex, navigational telex, is an international automated medium-frequency direct printing service for delivery of navigational and meteorological warnings and forecasts, as well as urgent maritime safety information to ships. Вопрос 32. What is mean magnetic deviation? Magnetic deviation is the error included in a compass by local magnetic fields, which must be allowed for, along with magnetic declination, if accurate bearings are to be communicated. Вопрос 33. What is mean magnetic variation? Magnetic variation is the angle on the horizontal plane between magnetic north and true north. This angle varies depending on position on the Earth's surface and changes over time. Вопрос 34. How often the hand steering to be tested? Solas Annex 8. Steering gear, heading and track control systems. Part 11. Test and check is required for test the steering gear within the 12 hours before the ship leaves port. Вопрос 35. What's the difference between true motion and relative motion? In relative motion, our ship is fixed at the center of display screen. In true motion, lands are fixed and our ship is moving. Вопрос 36. What is mean OKS? The underkeel clearance is a vertical distance between the deepest underwater point of the ship's hull and the water area bottom or ground. Вопрос 37. What is CalReg 72? International regulations for preventing collisions at sea are published by the IMO and set out, among other things, the rules of the road or navigation rules to be followed by ships and other vessels at sea to prevent collisions between two or more vessels. Вопрос 38. What you should make during cargo operations? Officer on watch shall watching the manifold back pressure at all times. The third officer must be able to oversee the loading, stowage, securing, and unloading of cargoes. He must also understand the care of cargo during the voyage. Ну, тут вообще по факту просто тьмища требований, но если вкратце можно описать этими словами. Конкретно для танкера и конкретно если вы сдаете на третьего помощника. Естественно, второму нужно уже знать больше. Вопрос 39. What your action if IGS failure? In the event of failure of the inert gas system or supply, action must be taken immediately to prevent air from being drawn into the tanks. All cargo operations must be stopped, and the check isolating valves for the inert gas system closed. Immediate action must be taken to repair the system. Terminal notified. Вопрос 40. What is preloading procedures? All inert gas systems must be checked prior to every operation commencing to ensure that correct operational is possible when required. First, oxygen monitoring equipment must be calibrated. Second, automatic shutdown system and valves checked. Third, deck seal alarms tested. Fourth, non-return valves should be checked. Fifth, hydrocarbon gas detectors should be checked and alarms tested. Sixth, dryers, dew point meters, and etc. were fitted and maintained and calibrated. Вопрос 41. What life-saving appliances do you know? LSA includes life buoy and life jackets, immersion suits, anti-exposure suits and thermal protective aids, life rafts, rescue boat, launching and embarkation appliances, marine evacuation systems, life throwing appliances, general emergency alarm system, public address system, IMA symbols and safety signs. По факту, чтобы перечислить все оборудование и подоборудование, нужно перечислить почти 80 страниц LSA кода. Так что можно вкратце рассказать вот так вот и что-то еще от себя добавить. Вопрос 42. What is SOLAS? The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, is an international maritime treaty which requires signatory flag states to ensure that ships flagged by them comply with minimum safety standards in construction, equipment and operation. Вопрос 43. What the SOLAS includes? SOLAS contained 14 chapters. Chapter 1 – General Provisions. Chapter 2 – Part 1 – Construction Subdivision and Stability, Machinery and Electrical Installations. Chapter 2 – Part 2 – Fire Protection, Fire Detection and Fire Extinguisher. Chapter 3 – Life-Saving Appliances and Arrangements. Chapter 4 – Radio Communications. Chapter 5 – Safety of Navigation. Chapter 6 – Carriage of Cargoes. Chapter 7 – Carriage of Dangerous Goods. Chapter 8 – Nuclear Ships. Chapter 9 – Management for the safe operation of the ships. Chapter 10 – Safety measures for high-speed craft. Chapter 11 – Part 1 – Special measures to enhance maritime safety. Chapter 11 – Part 2 – Special measures to enhance maritime security. Chapter 12 Additional safety measures for bulk carriers. Chapter 13. Verification of compliance. Makes mandatory from 1st January 2016 the IMO Member State Audit Scheme. Chapter 14. Safety measures for ships operating in polar waters. From 1st January 2017. Для третьего помощника нужно знать второй, третий и пятую части в доскональности. И желательно с четвертой и девятой частью быть очень хорошо ознакомленными. Вопрос 44. Who is designated person ashore? The DPA is the structure and support for an efficient and effective safety management system on board a vessel. All commercial vessels over 500 gross tonnage. The DPA is especially to ensure a reliable connection between the company and the crew and supervise the safe operation of the vessel. Вопрос 45. What is parallel index and its use? Radar parallel indexing is intended to emulate the process of parallel indexing on some radar systems. Parallel indexing is an advanced navigation technique mainly used to keep a safe distance from navigation hazards. The RPI feature is a visual aid to indicate when the vessel has drifted too close to a navigational hazard. When the navigational hazard is drawn between the parallel indexing line and the electronic bearing line, the mariner knows that he has come too close to the hazard and must correct for this error. Вопрос 46. What is abort line? Abort point is position after which there is no sufficient sea room for the vessel to turn around and return back. Вопрос 47. How to make correction of chart and publications. All the charts and publications provided in weekly notices to mariners, and the correction numbers to entered in the same indents mentioned above against chart numbers respectively. Chart corrections is published on a weekly basis and contains the corrections necessary to update and maintain the nautical charts and nautical publications. Вопрос 48. What is IGS? For a safe operation of the ship, inert gas is produced on board of crude oil carriers, gas carriers, chemical carriers, bulk carriers. During operation of inert gas system, IGS, the oxygen content of the inert gas supplied to cargo tanks should be 5% or less. Inert gas is a gas or vapor which will not support combustion and will not read with the cargo. А также помимо всех этих вопросов нужно в доскональности, желательно, знать БПСС. Это далеко не все вопросы, которые могут спросить на собеседовании на танкер, но это большая их часть. То, о чем вас скорее всего спросят.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in.